Well, 5 months into her new job, North Carolina's lieutenant governor has been crisscrossing the state advocating for child care in our community college system.
That's right. Lieutenant Governor Rachel Hunt's last name is a familiar one. Her father, Jim Hunt, served 4 terms as North Carolina's governor, but before that, he was elected lieutenant governor. In an interview you'll only see right here on CBS 17, I asked Rachel Hunt what it's like to follow in her father's footsteps.
Yeah, it's a great full circle moment. I mean, to think about the history, 50 years ago he was in this position. He taught me, he and my mother, all about public service. That was their entire life's work. That is what all of my siblings and I now do. And I just hope to be half as good of a lieutenant governor as he was.
And his life's mission continued for many years after that.
Yes.
When it comes to things like education.
Yes, absolutely. You know, he had the vision of a North Carolina that was better than it had ever been before. And he had the work ethic to make that happen. And that's exactly what I want to continue.
What are you using from his lesson as you go community college to community college across the state?
Well, I'm using that we have to come together as a people in North Carolina. We can't talk about things that are partisan. We have to talk about things that are human. And you know, making sure community colleges get the funding they need, because that will form our workforce. And of course, my child care emphasis, because we've got to have people be able to go to work in order to have a great, successful economic North Carolina.
Back on to the community college topic, are you seeing the onus more on our community colleges as four-year colleges become less affordable for many families? And is there a strain on them right now, or to get the resources they need in order to get all these students in the classroom?
Yes, I mean, it's always challenging to have enough money in your community colleges and your four-year universities. These schools are having to write grants every single day. They have a department that does that in order to get the money to build these buildings that have these advanced manufacturing, these nursing programs. And that is exactly what we need as a state to be able to fund them for. They shouldn't have to make so much money on their own. And they really are doing the work of training our people. So
let's talk about childcare. That's another big problem in our state, particularly in our rural areas as well. What have you seen face to face? What have you learned as you've been to childcare facility?
Well, I've learned that it's essential to have good childcare. You can't just have childcare. It's not babysitting. It is childhood education. And we've got to have people that are, you know, follow it with a passion, teaching our children. And to get those people, we've got to pay them what they need to live on. We're working very hard to find solutions that don't necessarily involve state money, but expand what we're doing to other areas.
Is that the direction you think we're going with many things in North Carolina, getting out of the box that we're in? Oh, we got to go to the legislature and get more cash. Have we really got to rethink the way we do things to make things work?
I think we do. And we have such great businesses in this state that could step in. Businesses are very interested in making sure they have workers, and they can only have workers if they have childcare.
So some sort of private government partnership.
Private-public partnership. That's exactly what Dad started many of back in the day, and we've got to get back into that business.
And I also talked to her, asked her about what she hears the #1 concern is as she goes all over the state from people in North Carolina. I'll have that for you tomorrow at 5 o'clock.
All right, looking forward to that, Russ.
Absolutely.